first year at Camp Jamison, and my favorite activity is going swimming with my friends and making sandcastles.
Walking on sunshine, whoa, and don't it feel good? Hey, all right now, and don't it feel good? Hey, yeah. I used to think maybe you love me, now I know that it's true.
Hi, my name is Jose, and I've been here at Camp Jamison for 2 years. My favorite thing to do here at Camp Jamison is kayaking because it's like very calming and soothing for me, being on the water, just sitting there and then looking up the birds pass by.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Hi, my name is Kyla. I'm 15 years old, and my favorite activity is making new friends. I made a lot of new connections with people that I'm probably gonna hang out with outside of camp.
I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa.
What's up? My name's Samaj. I've been at camp for 10 years. I'm 19 years old. I'm a camp intern counselor. My favorite thing to do is swimming and canoeing.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Jacqueline. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the founder and executive director of Camp Jamison. We've got some more people joining us, so I'm going to let them in. But I did ask in the chat to go ahead, say your name, what neighborhood you're from, as we get to know each other better. This is a open house for both registered campers and prospective campers. So we'll be giving a lot of broad information, and some people are completely new to Camp Jamison. So we are glad to have you here. As I have others enter the chat, we're going to go over tonight welcome and our connections. I have some staff here that are going to come off mute and say hello if they can. We're going to talk about why camp matters. So if you're new to Camp Jamison, we're going to spend some time on why you would take the risk and send your child to summer camp and what the benefits are. Then we'll talk specifically about what summer 2025 is going to look like, and then registration and payment. And then there'll be time for some live questions and answers, and we'll follow up with a closeout of what you can expect moving forward. So we're so excited to have you all here. Like I said, it's a little different. Normally we do our open house either really early in the spring when everybody is still deciding, or late, and then one just later in the summer. But since we had a new session open up and we do have more spots, we wanted to kind of share all the great new things about Camp Jamison. So if you were here on time, right at 6 o'clock, you saw the video where our campers were talking about Camp Jamison, as well as all the great pictures from our location. And so that gave you a little taste of what summer at Camp Jamison can look like.
At Camp Jamison, we believe that every child should get to experience the magical and life-changing impact that summer camp can have. That's why I, Jacqueline McDonough, founded Camp Jamison in 2008, and then we had our first summer in 2011. We've been operating as Camp Jamison, a diverse, inclusive, and affordable summer camp since 2011, making sure that as many Philly kids as possible can enjoy the benefits of summer camp.
And that's a little bit more about us. If you're a staff member and want to come off mute, I know I at least saw Gia, and just say hi and say how long you've been at Camp Jamison and what's your job now there.
Hi, I'm Gia. This is my I'm pretty sure this is my 10th year, if I'm not mistaken. This is my 10th year. I started off as a camper, and then I moved into a counselor in training, and now I'm a counselor.
Thanks, Gia. And then Jordan is with us. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Jordan, but he is from, he'll type his in the chat so he can introduce himself.
I can talk for a
Oh,
second. Hello, can you hear me?
hey, yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah, my name's Jordan. I've been at camp for about 11 or 12 years at this point, I'm pretty sure. And I was just like, gee, I started as a camper, became a counselor in training, a junior counselor, then a counselor. And now I've recently been promoted to assistant director and will be training to become that this year.
Thank you, Jordan. Yes, Jordan is our assistant director for this summer, and he has been with us since 2014, 15, and pretty much helped develop what camp really is as we have grown bigger and bigger. So why would kids like Gia and Jordan spend 10 years coming back every year? That's because Camp Jamison is so special. We are specifically created for your kids in mind. And what some people might not know is a lot of the benefits of camp and what matters. So your child deserves this. It's not a nice to have. I believe camp is a need to have. The skills that camp teaches aren't being taught anywhere else, and we are really good at what we do. The three main points is why it's a need to have is we have time in nature, and that equals stress release, confidence, and calm. So even though we are having fun just by them being outside, surrounded by the trees, the environment that you saw in that opening video, they are getting time to naturally decompress, laugh, and be joyful. We have no screens at Camp Jamison, so we get kids away from being passive in play, and now they're actually moving and connecting with each other and laughter. We return kids who are more confident, emotionally regulated, and proud of themselves because they know they just did something that not a lot of kids in this country get to do that are like them. And this is a quote from a parent that said, after camp, my child wasn't just happier, they were lighter. And that's one of the repeated things that you'll hear about Camp Jamison is the joy that comes across during our camp weeks, and something that we are very, very proud of because we are just so happy to be all together at Camp Jamison. If you're worried, that means you care, but you need to know that we care too. Homesickness, my staff are trained and ready. It's a part of the journey. They have safe, cozy cabins and consistent routines that will ease every transition. The bathrooms and the toilets and the showers are all inside, connected to where they sleep, making it as convenient as possible. And as you just heard, our staff were once nervous campers too, so they really know what your kid needs in those moments. They'll come back changed in the best way, and you'll see it the moment you pick them up. They'll tell you about the song they led or the friend they made. They'll be more grounded, brave, and joyful, and they'll know they can do hard things, and you'll know it too. The big change that I saw with my son that's been consistent, my son's been a camper now for the past 5 years, and he likes to be outside more. So even if he is playing the Switch, he likes to sit outside and play the Switch. And then he's really way more easily persuaded outside when we're doing a family activity. So that's a big shift I noticed. So those are the reasons that we think camp is really important. But what you really want to know, because I expect you're already sure or interested at least in attending summer camp, and you want to know what's specific to Camp Jamison. Well, this was what our summer looked like last year. We had 65 campers and 70% of them were returners. We have a very high return rate, so that means pretty much when campers come to Camp Jamison, they usually stay out. Our board chair, Nelson, just said that the lifespan of a Camp Jamison camper is 7 to 76, like the average lifespan of a human. because we are so committed to our campers and when they become adults and they then give back to our campers. Campers' ages are 8 to 15. This can be a tricky one. 15 is only open if you had been a future camper. Our racial demographics are exactly about how our pictures look. We are about 62% Black campers. We have Hispanic being about 5%, multiracial and other making up a 20, and then white or Caucasian making up about 14%. So while we do primarily serve Black and brown campers, right, there's a huge population in the middle there. As well as we do serve white campers. We're a summer camp for everyone. It's something that we've talked about a lot. And we want to make sure that every kid who has the opportunity, who wants to have the opportunity to go to camp does. And so that's why we keep making sure that it's open to all races, even though we do have a majority of Black and brown campers. These are our ages, as you can tell. You can take a look at that and see the breakdown. This was our staff from last year. It changed a little bit this year. But again, our racial demographics for our staff are also about 85% are Black or African American, and that other part right now is 16% white. So that's the community in some numbers about Camp Jamison. As far as what's happening in our sessions is that we're growing. So we already have our session for July 28th, which is a Monday, which is new this year, Monday, to August 3rd, which is a Sunday, and that's session A. And we have a few spots, about 10, still left in session A, if that's the session that interests you the most. Session A, and now we're adding session B because we had such an outstanding waitlist request last year that we're adding a second session to make sure that we can prioritize all the campers that want to come to Camp Jamison. The dates for the second session, session B, are August 3rd through August 9th. And that's Sunday, August 3rd through Saturday, August 9th.
Camp Jamison.
Now, you want to know, now that we know the bare basics, what is actually about Camp Jamison, we're going to tell you the values that we stand out and we think makes us the best camp.
Camp Jamison prides ourselves on the values that shape not only our week of camp, but our organization. These are the values that makes Camp Jamison stand apart from other camps and makes us a safe place for your children. They can only stand if your child and your family embraces them, at least while they're at camp. Not embracing these values and following them will be consequences. Our values are that Camp Jamison is respectful and kind to ourselves, our camp, and our environment. This means we care about it in the way we care about ourselves. So if there's something you wouldn't do to someone else, don't do it to yourself, don't do it to someone else. Camp Jamison is tech-free. That means no cell phones, no sneaking allowed. Camp Jamison is centered on trying new things, and we use what we learn to teach others. We have an amazing summer planned for you, and you're going to learn so much. And we hope that you can take it back to your neighborhoods or wherever you're from and help those kids as well. Camp Jamison builds peacemakers in word and action. We are 100% nonviolent in word and action, and fighting as grounds for immediate dismissal. We'll talk more about that later. But the piece I want to highlight there is that we are nonviolent. We will talk about safety with your kid, but it's important to note that no one is safe if we all aren't safe. And so every child has to be committed to the idea of our community being peaceful. We know play fighting happens, and it might even be allowed. At Camp Jamison, we don't. And my staff is trained at getting kids to play in different ways. We have lots of toys at camp. We don't need to play fight. We can work through that. We won't work through any violence in word or action. Camp Jamison is appreciative and advocates
for the natural world, and then Camp Jamison is a family. But we recently changed that last one to family to community. Activities that your camper will get to try are archery, stream ecology. That's where they get to go in the stream that's in camp and look for nature, frogs or salamanders, or just for a walk in a new place. There's also a hike that we go on every year. We have a peace building class. Peace building is the only non-optional class that your camper will take part in. Everything else, they usually have a choice that they can do. If they don't want to go to archery, they can go to stream ecology. If they don't want to go to stream ecology, they can go to cooking. There are definite parts throughout the day that they have a lot of choice, but peace building is the one that we make sure everybody gets. And so it makes sure that we're all speaking the same language about being peaceful and solving problems. We have arts and crafts and cooking. We have an open sports field, and our open sports field is where we get to play games outside. We also have an inside sports field, which will be available for us this year. We have on-site swimming. We swim in a lake that is zero entry, and that's available Monday through Friday for both of those our sessions. And then we have special things like color games, a game called Gaga and carpet ball, and other special surprises throughout the week. This is a map of our campus, and so I'm going to switch to a different icon here. Let's see which one. Okay, it should be red. But so this is the beginning of our camp right over here. This is that indoor field house, and so there is a very, very, very long road that leads up to here. So you'll see this is our athletic field. There's a basketball court down here, but there's also another one up at the top. There are then, so this is that stream we were talking about. There's archery and slingshots. We have going through that main road, you go to the top. And so right here is the rock. In front of the rock is actually this parking lot, which we also have basketball, because we spend the majority of our day in this area right in front of the lakefront. So all cabins are here. Laurel is one, Hemlock, Maple, Rocky Top, and Evergreen and Klein are all lodges that your campers could be in. And so there's little trails that connect them. The Rock is our main building where our arts and crafts class and our cooking classes happen and our environmental education. And then in front of it, you see the dining hall. And the dining hall has porches on it so that you can sit and relax and see the lake. And then you have Gaga pits and carpet ball and different games that they can play. This is kind of our what we call our downtown area where everybody can enjoy. You'll see that we have that lake. It goes right out. It's a zero entry. You can swim in it as well as going boating. Feel free if you have any questions, the things that I'm talking about, you can drop them in the chat, and I'm sure somebody will have an answer for you. If not, they can let me know. Okay.
We hope once your camper comes to Camp Jamison, they want to come back forever. And so you might be interested in our camper to staff journey. Our program is for 8 to 14-year-old campers. And then at 15, we stop accepting new campers. So they had to have attended as 14-year-olds or previously. That gave us an extra year for our campers to be kids at 15.
At 15, and now then at 16 are all CITs. So this was in place last year, and this has then showed that it will continue like that. So we have 15-year-olds that are now campers, 16-year-olds are the CITs. We'll be having 3 CITs this year, and what that means is then the 3 CITs that we had last year, who were 16, who are now 17, they are the only 17-year-olds on the staff. They are junior counselors, but they do get to attend our staff week, which is the thing they really want to be able to do, because it's a lot of bonding and training together. And so those are the only 17-year-olds on staff. Everybody else is 18 and over. And we probably have a median age range this year of 19 to 20. And so that's who will be taking care of your campers. Over the years, we have retained many of our campers as counselors. And so when I show you the staff picture, you'll see that about 15%, 50% of our counselors were former campers.
All staff members, whether they're new or returning, go through an application process, a reference check, and an interview with the camp director. They also, every year, must pass a background check and undergo a thorough week-long pre-camp training. During the week, they are at camp, on site, going over systems and routines, and collaboratively working hands-on to get ready for your campers.
And then this year, as I said, I am the executive director and the director of camp, but Jordan will be our assistant director and Jamie will be our head counselor. And Jamie has been with us working as a counselor since 2017. And we're so thankful that she has been with us for so long. Now, this is the staff. We have over a 90% return rate for our staff this year, and then we're adding a few more, but about 50% of the people that you're seeing in this picture were Camp Jamison campers themselves and have grown up going to the program. It is important to note that most of them did not know each other before they came to Camp Jamison. So if your kid is coming completely alone, that is totally okay, as most of Jamison campers normally do. We will have 7 lodges this year. Typically we've only had 5, but we are now having a male cabin for 8 to 9 and a female cabin for 8 to 9, and then a middle years cabin, which is new. So the middle years will be 10 to 12, 10 to 12, and then our oldest cabins, the Blue Jays, 13 to 14, 15-year-old males, Sparrows, the 13 to 15-year-old females, and we do have an all-gender option for numerous reasons. If your kid feels more comfortable in a mixed gender setting, we have that option. We refer to that group as the Owls, and they are 12 to 15. Or if your kid's a little bit younger, we can talk about that if the best place for them is in that all-gender cabin. So you'll see this. We have amazing lodge leaders who are the leaders for each of your lodges and will be in charge for each of your campers and the staff working in them during the summer. Excuse me. All right, so you're looking at our schedule from last year. It is subject to change just a little bit, but we normally have morning colors, which is our normal morning announcements where we get out our Camp Pride at 8:15 a.m. and breakfast starting at 8:30. We have morning lodge time, which is normally when we get ready. for the day, we clean up our cabin. And then we have 2 activity periods, and this is where the choice comes in. So I'll say sparrows, you can choose between cooking or going on the environmental education hike. Which one do you want to do? And then students, campers can either select one option. Sometimes they all decide to go to the same thing, sometimes they don't. The oldest boys always wants basketball as an option. And so as long as it's not peace building, they get that option to play basketball as long as they have that supervision. And so that's what we try to do during these activity periods, is get the kids to try new things, but also to make sure that they're getting a choice in what they say, because they don't get a choice in what they say during all the activities. We then have, here it says lunchtime, but we changed this. We flipped it last summer. So it goes into downtown Camp Jamison, which is like a giant recess, where recess is way better. So we have lush green grass with gaga pits and toys for outside games. We have carpet ball, we have hammocks that you saw in the video. And then we also have a place inside that you can go to. If you're maybe overwhelmed or you're too hot, you want to go. There's a place to do Legos, there's a place to do arts and crafts, and all of those good things, all during downtown. So that leaves a lot of that independence. And that's if you have a sibling where they might be able to see them. We then have lunch, and then we go to Chillville, which is our version of nap time. You definitely don't have to nap, even though your counselors would probably really like it if they did. But we do just want to take it down a notch. It's usually the hottest part of the day too, so we're able to relax and recharge for the busy afternoon and night that we have ahead. This is what the afternoon looks like. It's a really fantastic time at Camp Jamison. We start back at 2:45, really strong with our afternoon colors. And then you'll see it called swimming and. And it's called swimming and because you can pretty much do anything. And you also get to do swimming. All right, so 3 to 5, we have 2 different sections of swimming time. We have your option to go swimming. We'll talk about more detail in swimming in a second. You also have your option to go boating. But if you don't want to do either of those things, you can also play Gaga or carpet ball or any of those outside games that we were talking about. And if you have a counselor, you can use the basketball courts. And so that's what the swimming and means. Then we get changed for dinner. We go to dinner, we have another downtown period, and then we have our evening activity. And so every evening activity is different, but it always brings the camp together. Fan favorites are bingo, our carnival, the talent show, our camp-wide game. Last year we did Family Feud, and then on the last day of camp is always our closing campfire. We try to wrap up our evening activity around 8 o'clock. Not always happening, especially on the talent show day, but you'll then have lodge time for their showers, checking in, and closing out the night. And if they are older, maybe allowed a special lodge activity. So more specifics on waterfront. So they have 5 chances to go swimming and boating. You'll see those are usually the most liked activities that we offer. I'd say that and archery, but archery kind of gets boring a little quickly. For boating, your child might be scared of it the first day, but by Thursday, they're ready to try it. And so we always do challenge by choice. And so these are swimming and boating are both optional. That's not something they have to do. There's other activities that they can do while we're at the waterfront. Our waterfront is always guided by a certified lifeguard who assesses each camper's ability and assigns them to the appropriate swim area based on their skill. All right, so there are 2 different areas, shallow and then the deeper area. And if they are in the shallow area, then that will be if they have not passed the swim test. Non-swimming activities may include hanging out in the hammocks area, playing gaga, carpet ball, or basketball. Some other swimming precautions that we take that you might want to know about, since we are familiar that most of our children and campers are not around water a lot, is that you told us your kids' level and you got to choose what they would do, and how well they can swim. And one of the options was, even if they pass the test, they still need to keep that life jacket on. So if you click that, then that's what we're going to do. So their lodge leaders will know that, their counselors will know that, and we will always follow the discretion that you gave us. We then have trained lifeguards who will test anyone who thinks they can swim. All right, this is something I didn't get to do last year, but we'll post the test once I get up there to show you what it looks like. We have 2 lifeguards and it goes up to 6 feet. For any equipment in the deeper ends, we wear life jackets. But honestly, life jackets are pretty much worn by a lot of our campers, no matter what, because especially if you're playing in the deeper area that goes up to 6 feet, you get tired. And it's nice to have a life jacket on. I even use a pool noodle, and I'm quite a strong swimmer. We use the buddy system. So I don't get out of the lake without telling somebody. I don't move areas without telling somebody. So you always have a friend, and there's always a friend looking out for you. What I love is the water is zero entry. So if those non-swimmers, they can walk up into their knees. And the lake that we use, we don't have any 5-year-olds, but as little as 5-year-olds, they could stand and walk into it. And at Camp Jamison, life jackets are cool, right? Because they keep us safe and we want to have fun. It's kind of nice to be able to float. So that is some more details about swimming. Again, it is not a mandatory. We don't have swim lessons yet. We'd love to get that one day, but we really do take swimming very seriously. Here is a quick peek of our packing list. So if you want to go ahead and read that really quickly, this would be for a 1 week. And if you want to see our manual, this is the 2024 manual, but if you want to look through it, you are more than welcome to. Just know that some of the specifics will change, but all of the meat in it is definitely staying the same. So feel free, that's a QR code that you can scan and look through it. And here's how you can register. We have registration, like I said, open for session A and session B. You do have to complete both registrations for the different sessions. So if you wanted to do B and we've already signed up for A and you're looking to continue, you do need to sign up for session B as well. For signing up, we are allowing campers from session A to continue into session B, but we are really only suggesting that for returning campers since they know Camp Jamison and they know what it feels like to be away from home and they are ready to take on that challenge of being away even longer. We would suggest if this is your first year ever doing camp, either joining us in session A, there'll be a lot of returners, or if you think your kid would do great in a session with mostly new kids who are looking to make friends, session B would be the best bet for you. All right, seeing those quote chats. And now it's time for any frequently asked questions. I did see, go back there, about the phones. Yes, we campers do not have their phones. Staff do not have their phones on them, usually only to conversate. You can always text me or Jordan, and we'll tell you all about your kids' well-being and how they're doing. We send home a nightly email as well as pictures posted daily, but you will not be in direct contact with your child unless something were to go wrong. Then, of course, we will call you and let you know that. And yet, so we don't instruct kids how to swim, but we do have safety ways. They'd be in a life jacket, and that zero entry lake they can use. They'll be able to stand in and still play. The pictures will posted, they're from Smug Mug, so you'll get a specific link on that. And there is a base camp for new campers for all families that once you register, you'll get access to that has all of those things. So we don't post the pictures daily anymore on Facebook or Instagram, usually just the highlights. But the parents and the guardians can see more pictures. Feel free to come off mute or type in the chat if you have any other questions.
Hi, I had a question.
Sure.
So for the registration, is it a fee for the registration and then a fee for the camp as well? Like two different fees?
No, so payment, that's great. So Camp Jamison, the full cost is $2,000. And because of our scholarships, we're able to offer it at a sliding scale. So when you register, you pay your deposit, which is $125. And you also select the tuition that you're going to contribute to Camp Jamison. So for new families, the lowest amount you can contribute is $500. And $500. And so that's subtracted when the invoice goes out. And so then you'd have the remaining $475 due.
Okay, and then when is that like due? Is it before the camp or?
Yes, it's before the camp. We try to give everyone as much time as possible. And so May 30th is the date. For session B, we can probably do June 15th, but no later than that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But your big thing is to make sure you pay that deposit, and that saves your spot.
Okay, got you.
You can definitely change your session, but I would say you definitely don't have to if those dates work for you. I just wanted you to be aware of that. All right. Well, that is, go ahead.
Yes, sorry. I just had a question. Could you tell us a little bit about the transportation?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. We offer transportation from Northeast Philly in a charter bus up to our campus, which is in Huguenot, New York. It's right over the border. If you were to have to get there, there is a train, which is nice. But also it's a 3-hour drive by bus. So the majority of families drop their kids off to us in Philadelphia, Northeast Philadelphia. It's at a parking lot. We'll share that information and you'll drop them off and then we drive them up to camp. And then when they return, same process, just backwards. But if you're like, I really want to see the camp and that's the only thing that's going to make me feel comfortable, we totally get that too. Then you are more than welcome to drive up your child up to camp during like the designated periods of time when we're having open registration and see the camp and meet your counselors face to face for yourself. But transportation is provided. If you want to do something different than that, then you can, but that's not on us. The cutoff time to switch from A to B would probably be the end of April. The end of April. Because I planned, if we have now more room in A, then people might be interested in that.
Do you have a suggestion for camp A or B, if the child was like older, like 13 and 14? Like, cause I know the camp is variety to everybody, but it's hard to like know who's signing up for what.
I can say definitely for session A because I know the people that have already signed up. B is kind of a guess right now because we don't know who's signing up.
Yes, it's a
So
guess. Okay.
yeah, that's the best answer I can give you. More than happy as it gets closer to be like, this looks like it wouldn't be the best fit because
Yeah.
it's gonna be the one. I'm very transparent. I'm the only one that like runs this. That's why it's so important that Jordan's stepping up. But just know that you're like talking to me. And so if there's like something nuanced like that, we can figure it out together.
Okay. Is there any way we can contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can contact me at Jacqueline, and I'll put it in the chat right
Okay.
uh, or Jacqueline at campjamison.org. And then here's our contact information here. We are really excited that this summer we're going to get to have a pre-camp event. And so something we've tried to do for maybe the past 2 years, but couldn't get it running, we now do. So if you're registered, we will be doing a boating event in Philly at FDR Park on June 14th at about 1:30. And so that'll be only for registered campers, but it'll be a great time that if you are registered to go ahead and meet some people and say hi to them, meet the staff. Gia will be there. She's already RSVP. Jordan will be there and get to meet the people who'll be taking care of your child. But right there you have our website. That is my email address, and that is my Camp Jamison phone number. If you call that, it's much easier. Please leave a voicemail saying what you need, and I will definitely get back to you. I will stay on, but if there aren't any other questions for the good of the group, it was great getting to see y'all, and have a fantastic night.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Have a great one.
Bye, thank you. Yeah, we don't do buses on the bus ride at all, any phones on the bus rides at all anymore. There is no other tour prior to camp starting now. You're welcome.
And one last thing, the medical form for the campers, is that
Yes.
going to be sent out soon or?
Yes, it'll be sent out probably once we get the figured out. So by the end of the month.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, bye everyone.